Okay, y'all, this is Diva's Dispelling Disinformation and Educational Video time. I am going to address the issue of pedigrees because pedigrees are the most important thing that you need to know about. You don't need to know about health testing. Fuck health testing. Fuck health testing. Okay, right now, let's just fuck health testing. Table it all for the moment, okay? And here's why. Because health testing is about a snapshot of the dog's well-being at the time the testing is done. Now, in our breed has 5 major contributing causes of death that are going to kill your dog. And so you want to know what's in your pedigree. Is there direct deaths of DCM in your pedigree or heart disease? Sudden death DCM, which is arrhythmias, and there's a whole other theory about that, and I'll tell you about that later. Sudden death, where you've just done the health testing, you have a clear echo, you have a clear Holter, you have clear everything, and you're playing ball and your dog drops dead. That's called sudden death DCM. And it's believed that it's caused by an instant arrhythmias, that they die. I have some other theories from peer-reviewed articles I've read. The other one is cancer. The number one cause of death for most dogs is cancer, but cancer is mitigatable. We all know of people that have healed themselves of cancer, right? DCM, not so much. Bloat, wobblers, and, oh my God, my brain just went past. So we have DCM, both types of DCM. We have all different kinds of cancers. We have bloat and wobblers, and we have, oh my God, my brain just went on pause. Doesn't matter. Right this minute in the breed, the number one cause of death is DCM. And if you are one of those people that's just madly in love with European lines, the pure European lines, the big heavy ones that you see out of Croatia and Serbia, and they all have those great big heads and they're big heavy boned, and they're just, spectacular looking. They're just drop dead gorgeous. Yeah, they're dropping dead before 9. They're dropping dead between 2 and 7 years of age. That's when they're dropping dead. So I would steer clear of 100% European lines if I were you. That's just my recommendation. I am not going to touch any pedigree that has any Pride of Russia dogs in it. And there are certain dogs that you just should steer clear of. Fedor Del Nazi. Any pedigrees with Fedor Del Nazi usually have him more than once. That's a lethal pedigree. And if you have any Pride of Russia dogs, it's a lethal pedigree. And if it shows up once, it's terrible. If it shows up twice or more, it's totally fucked. The dog's not going to make it till 5. So how do you find this out? How do you know what's in the pedigree? How do you know what the causes of death are? How would I know that, Diva? Like, these websites are so polished and everything looks so great, and there's all these titles and these beautiful dogs, and I'm just enchanted with them, and I see all the health testing that's listed. They must be healthy, right? And these European dogs, they have to do this thing called a ZTP, and they have to pass that before they can be bred, and blah, 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 blah. Folks, health testing is a snapshot, okay? It's only as good as the day that it was taken. So all of my dogs have a clean bill of health. I could wake up to 4 dead dogs tomorrow. Doesn't matter. This breed has this thing called sudden death. Sudden death is either triggered by arrhythmias, and there's a whole other peer-reviewed study that says that the heart forms fatty cells, collections in the heart, and one pump blows a hole out of the heart. There's a whole peer-reviewed study about this, that could be the cause of sudden death. Now, how do you track that? You can't. So what good is it to know whether the dog was just health tested or not? What you should be looking at is the pedigree going back 8 generations and looking at all of the progenitors and the age and disease they died of. How do you do that? Doberbase.ru, just the way it's spelled, I have it listed right here, is a website with all of the dogs that have been bred over time, that somebody took the time to input the data into that database, and you have records of the causes of death, the age of death, the age of the progenitors. All this stuff is all right there on doberbase.ru, and you didn't know it was there. So every one of you that's interested in a pedigree from somebody, you're buying a pedigree is what you're buying. You're not buying a dog. You're buying a pedigree. You're buying 30 generations of breeding that culminated in this one litter. And all those progenitors have a cause of death. And all of them died at a certain age. And the more of them that died at under 10, the greater chances you have of your dog dying around the same age. So wouldn't it be nice to know? So go to doberbase.ru and spend at least a couple of hours, a couple times a week, if not every day, before you ever purchase a dog. Go to Doberman DCM Unplugged, or just Doberman DCM. Go to the files section, see the names of the dogs that are dying. Maybe they're related to your dog. You should know that. So these are places you need to go and do research before you ever pull the trigger, even on one of my dogs. I am never encouraging anybody not to do research before they buy from me. Now, I've done all the research. I've done it all, but how do you know that? I can tell you that, but we can lie, can't we? We can be big, fake, phony liars. I'm not, but there are. So the doberbase.ru will tell you what I bought, what I got when I bought Baba. Because go research Duralex, Polonia, Fado, F-A-D-O, Sava, S-A-A-V-A. That's my guy. That's my fucking founder of the feast here. And I know everything about his pedigree. I know everything about Mama's pedigree because I did 10 years worth of research before I ever bred. Now, Dory's 9 years old. So I did research for 6 years before she was born. 5 years, 5 years before she was born, because I got Baba in 2011. Now, Dory is 9. She'll be 9 this year. So I did a shitload of research every single day constantly about my pedigrees before I ever pulled the trigger. And I learned about a lot of things: coefficients of inbreeding, breeding diversity, genetic diversity, studies on all of that, research about the Dalmatian project, the Poodle project. So many purebred dogs have so many issues. And so I just devoured information constantly about this and formulated a breeding ideology that said that breeding diverse pedigrees is vastly superior for longevity and health than breeding line-bred dogs. Now, that ideology has been proven up a year ago with research that was done by Embark, dobehealth.org, and the Doberman Diversity Project. They did a study that said exactly what I'm saying now, that the repositories of longevity are in hobby lines, not in show lines. The greatest potential for lifespan in a dog is a diverse pedigree. Sorry, line breeders, but those are the facts. And that's been borne out with millions of dollars of research and a study that was just published a year ago. So go to doberbase.ru if you have European pedigrees. There's a lot of American pedigrees there too. But if you have American show pedigrees or American lines, dobequest.org. You can go in as a visitor and just type in the name of a dog or a kennel, and there will come up and you'll be able to research everything on that pedigree, going back 8 generations, siblings, offspring, all kinds of research where you can follow lines and find somebody in a line by spending researching threads of pedigrees. So those 2 resources are where you should start. You can take my dog's pedigree. You could go get any show dog pedigree and look up on dobequest.org and research those pedigrees and causes of death and the age of death in the pedigree. That will tell you what you can expect to get out of your dog regardless of the health testing. That's the most important thing you need to know about. And you need to ask breeders for their pedigrees so you can go look for them. Now, I hope this helps. Please ask your questions and comments in the thread, and I will cover more again. So there you go. There's my one